Will. So our speaker today is our exchange student, Alessia Rama from Italy. It was our first year hosting, and she has been just a blessing and a wonderful addition to our family. Alessia.
How do I share my screen?
I'll make you a co-host here so you can share your screen. Let's see, Alicia Moore. Okay, you're on.
Okay.
Do you see the button in the middle?
Yeah, but now it's like open like this. Like, I want to connect to Google Drive.
Oh, I think you have to sign back on. Can you go to your email?
It's on here.
Uh-oh, that's weird. Can you open your PowerPoint? Can you go to?
I can open my PowerPoint here, but
You see the little share screen at the bottom?
Here, right here. Go
The
to-
green?
yes.
And then go to that.
Click on that.
Not here.
Is it on your Google Drive?
Yes.
Yeah, then click there.
That's what I just did. And it says like this.
Okay.
Hey, Bryce.
Yes.
While she's figuring it out, I have a funny 4th of July story.
Sign in with Google.
Okay.
The group, Dave reminded me, the group
Yes.
Model A's and Model T's on the island decided to put flags on our cars and go around the block and all around the island. And so I took the 1919 Model T and got it all fixed up, warmed up and ready, and put the flag in the back, which is a really big deal to get it mounted so it wouldn't come off in the rain and the wind and all. And so I'm ready to get out of the garage, and then I recognized that the flagpole was 1.5 feet taller than the garage door. So I got to start all over, push it outside and start all over. That's all I have. It was a great 4th otherwise, though. But I sure missed the duck dash. Gee whiz. Over now.
Thank you, Lee.
You bet.
There you go. So you're muted, Alicia.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay. So, hello everyone. Thank you for being here. And as you already know, I'm gonna be talking about my experience that took place from the August 23rd to now July 16th, and it was part of the Rotary Youth Exchange Program. And my district in Italy was District 2060 from Venice, and then the district I exchanged to was District 5050, and in this case in the Club of Arlington. Okay, so just like me, there were 13 exchange students in the club, in the district 5050, that decided to spend the year abroad. And they were from all over the world, some in the Asian part of the world, and then others in South America, especially in Peru, and most of us were in Europe. So yeah, just some countries were France, Germany, Austria, Italy, Italy, then Spain, Norway, Denmark, Peru, Taiwan, Japan, and South Korea. Together, we had several meetings. Just because of the coronavirus, we just had 4. But the first one was the one in Kyoka camp. It was like a weekend where we got to know each other for the first time. And then the second meeting was in Bellingham. The third meeting was in Chilliwack in Canada, since 50-50 is partially in Canada and partially in the US. And the last meeting we had was the weekend on Mount Baker, which was the last time we saw each other.
Alessia, are you, I only see one slide up. Are you going through slides?
Yes.
I only see one. Am I the only one that only sees one? The opening slide is all I see.
Know how to help her fix that? Because on her screen, it's showing the full.
I only see the one.
I don't know why.
I only see one.
Yeah.
I think you need to hit slideshow.
Put it in the slideshow mode.
Can you see the change now?
Or click on each one individually like you just did.
It's just not working.
That's slide number 2, and we see that.
Okay.
That's 2.
There's 3.
Okay. So yeah.
Just do it manually.
Okay, so I'm just gonna do it like this. So yeah, just some pictures from Mount Baker, and then the one with the lights is in Chilliwack, where we're part of the parade. And then we went ice skating. And these 3 pictures were from our first meeting, or like, yeah, gathering, and this one was in Bellingham. So I arrived on the 23rd of August at Rose's and Eric's house. And one of our first trips was a boat trip where we went crabbing, or where I went crabbing for the first time. We spent like all day on the boat, enjoying the view and talking to each other about and sharing the differences from my culture and your culture, and petting their dogs. So on September 13th, I went to my first football game where with Rose and Eric, where I got to be part of the Arlington High School spirit. And it was really interesting to see a new sport that we do not practice in Europe, and getting to know how it goes. Then as a committed Eagle, of course, I couldn't miss homecoming. Like every movie, or like everyone was talking about it. And I went with my new group of friends I just met. And we spent all the afternoon getting ready, and then after the dance we had a sleepover. And just a few weeks later there was a homecoming at the Bellingham school, where I knew one girl that was an exchange student from Germany, and she invited me, so I got to go to 2 homecomings. Oh wait. Okay. And then as me and my family, Rose and Eric also really liked hiking. And so me, Rose, and Stella went on our first hike on October 26th. And we were following a little trail and enjoyed the mountains, the rivers, and the blue sky. And yeah, just the green and peaceful landscape of Washington. And so when Halloween was getting closer, we went to pick 4 different pumpkins to carve out. And then we also went to a corn maze and had kettle corn. And on the exact night of Halloween, I went with friends on a trunk or treat organized by the Arlington High School, where kids and families were just like gathering, going from one track to another. And I was part of that. Then just a little a week later, I think, we went for the first time to Seattle. We went first Ferris wheel, and then we just walked around the city and went to Pike Place Market. We ate at Cheesecake Factory, and then to finish the day, we just enjoyed an amazing sunset and the view of the city of Seattle. After Halloween, we started to get ready for Christmas, like not immediately, but it was like pretty soon and fast how it came. And so we went to the garage, took all the Christmas decorated the house, and then went out and picked a Christmas tree, which we decorated just a few days later. And we also baked Christmas cookie and put the outside lights on the house. And during Christmas time, we had friends over, so we had like a Christmas dinner, and I got to meet Rose's mom and Eric's family, and we spent the days together. So, like around, I started volunteering at the Noah animal shelter. And one day I entered my shift, and they had a new load of cats coming in, and one of them was Bob, which I fell in love immediately, and took a lot of pictures and videos, which I then showed to Rose and Eric. They also fell in love with Bob, and just a few days later we went to the shelter and adopted him. So now Bob is at Rose's and Eric's house, and Stella and Bob, the two dogs, are now like best friends with him and are living together.
Neat.
So time flies way too fast, and like the end of December arrived, which means family change. And one of our last trips was to Deception Pass, where we had a hike and went over the bridge and just enjoyed the nature. And at the end of December, as I said, I switched families and I went to the Peters house. And one of our first trips was to go to Seattle again. And we went on the Space Needle and then visited the Jahuli Museum with the girls, like all together. We just like spent the day there and took pictures and had fun. And the day after that, John asked me and the girls to come with him and help him with transport and like upload and download boxes of cereals that we were gonna donate to the food bank. It was like a long and like hard work, not like too hard, but just like moving all those boxes from the magazine to the truck and then to the truck into the food bank. But it was a unique experience, and we knew that all this work was going to help like families later on. So, and then at the end of January, we flew to Mexico, where we spent like a whole week. We mostly stayed at the beach and swam in the Gulf of Mexico and built sandcastles all together. And we also went on several trips. One of them was to an island where we spent just a day there discovering and laying around on the beach. Highlight of Mexico was definitely swimming with the dolphins. Me and the girls went there and had a lot of fun. We got to do tricks with the dolphins, and then we had different pictures taken that we then took at home and are now like beautiful memories. One other trip I went on alone this time was to the Mayan ruins and caves. This trip brought me through the jungle into the underground caves and then also ziplining over the lakes. We went canoeing from one side of the other of the lake, where Mexican women were expecting us with an authentic meal. And then in the afternoon with the guide, we went to Coba, which is an archaeological site. And we walked up to the pyramid and enjoyed the view. And these are some of the pictures. It was like, the steps were like super steep and there were just a whole bunch of people going up. But then at the end, it was like totally worth it. You could just like watch over the whole jungle. So at after the first week of February, we got an invite to a leadership camp where like all of us exchange students were invited, and most of us went, and we learned new leadership skills, of course. We met a whole bunch of people and learned about more about ourselves and how to collaborate in group. So we had many speakers talking to us about their experiences and how they overcame different and difficult problems and obstacles. And so it just really helped, and was a great time with other people. And we had to drive all the way to Canada for this camp, but then we realized that the participants were mostly from the US. Then, at the beginning of the coronavirus, a whole bunch of exchange students were worrying to go back home. My mom especially wanted me to go home, but then I insisted to stay here. My closest friends, Maggie from Taiwan, had to go home because her club in Taiwan was ordering her to go home. And so we organized a surprise goodbye party, which also turned out to be the last time that I saw the other 3 girls on the pictures as well, because then they all flew home and we couldn't travel to meet them. And it was a goodbye party for everyone else in the group. And then, so with this whole situation of staying at home, really know what to do except of going outside and spending time outside. And so me and the girls and Jody decided that we're gonna get chicks, 14 of them. And so we had a new project in the home and to feed them and keep them all clean. And then we also collected and washed eggs and had just a little stand where people could get fresh eggs. Then on the 27th of March, I switched families once again, and I arrived at Jennifer's house. And so the period was a little weird just because we couldn't go anywhere, but that brought us even more together because we had more time to spend together. And then once we were allowed to go outside, we spent we went 2 times to Idaho, once at a casino and spa, and the second time at a sports resort. And we also went camping on the Memorial Day weekend, where I got to prove my building and skills, and just being outside with other people and enjoying the woods. Another one of our trips was at Kayak Point, so just to go out of the house once again, we went to Kayak Point, where we played a lot of cribbage and had a picnic and just spent the day there, even if the weather was super cold, but we just dipped our feet in it, or at least I did. And then on June 5th, we went to Fishing Derby, our yearly tradition that I got to be part of. And we spent time around the fire and on the dock, where I caught my first fish ever, and Russ won the trophy for being the fastest to finish the competition. And yes, we had a great time there. This time I didn't sleep on a tent, but in the trailer, but it still was a great time. So our latest, one of our latest trips was to Las Vegas. So on June 25th, we flew there and the weekend at the Gold Nugget. We explored Fremont and were amazed by all the lights that were lit during night. And then we also went ziplining there twice, and it was just flying through the whole gallery over the people and through the lights. So that was pretty amazing. And then another day we went to the Las Vegas sign. And we spent the day at Circus, going on roller coasters, and then had dinner at New York. And yeah, Las Vegas sign was one of my I really want to go there to take pictures and had those memories. And now that I have them, I'm really happy that we went there and I had the opportunity to go there. And here are some more pictures. these two at Circus, and then this was the Superman zip lining we went to, which was just like laying on your tummy and fly through the gallery. And the first one we did was just like sitting, and it was even shorter and shorter and not as high as the Superman one. And our latest trip was to Ocean Shores, where we went there to spend the 4th of July weekend there. And I got to celebrate it for the first time since it's not a celebration in Italy. And we spent their time at friend's house, and we brought fireworks and lit them on the beach while watching sunset. While watching a sunset with like, yeah, these are the pictures. And then, so this is how I'm gonna end my presentation. And we're just, of course, some of the highlights, because putting on a PowerPoint all the things I did during this year would be like endless, because I did so many things and I learned so many new people and made so many relationships and visited places that, yeah, it was just great being part of this. And I hope I'm gonna see you all soon, that I'm gonna like come back at a point and see you again.
Perfect. Thank you, Alessia. Does anybody have any questions?
Alessia, where in Italy do you live?
So the closest big city is Verona, but the town I live in is Cavaillon Veronese.
What percentage of the exchange students ended up going home versus staying? Do you know that?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Do you know what percentage of exchange students went home versus stayed?
Well, by now I think everyone is at home. I'm the last one flying at home. But like in May, it was just 4 exchange students that stayed. Everyone else was already gone.
What kind of news did you have from your hometown about the COVID? Was it ravaging a lot of people there? Or?
So like my family was safe, or is still safe, but not too many of like that I know of. Just one of our friends got affected, but I think it hit more in other towns than in Verona.
So what surprised you the most about living here in the United States for just a bit that you didn't expect?
Well, like school, I knew it was different from home, but like it was like completely different, because school in Italy is just about like discipline and learning, while here is like a whole like school spirit and clubs and sports like all together, that like was even, I think it's like it's good having that. So I really like that, and was surprised so many people were in that school.
Any other questions at all? All right. Thank you very much. I got the bell. The meeting is adjourned. Have a great week.